Hey, good day, everyone. This is B, Brandy, aka Be the Truth, and this is going to be my very first video for my new channel. And I am going to start this channel off with a breakdown of the movie Sinners. And I'm not even going to give a breakdown, I'm going to give my spiritual understanding of the movie Sinners. Because not everybody's going to take away the same thing, you understand? But I also want others to understand that this movie is nowhere near as difficult to decipher and understand as people is making it out to be. It is honestly plain and clear cut. That passage that speaks in the Bible, those with eyes to see and ears to hear, this was truly a movie for them to demonstrate and walk in that which they have been gifted with. So we start off with the movie, the young man, the little cousin, Simi, inside of a church with his father. And he's itching to get off. You know, he has done his work for the night and he's ready to hit the road and have fun. But his father is more or less worried about the young man missing service. So in his words, he sums up what he thinks God means to him. Basically, he says that no matter what you go through, no matter what situation you find yourself in, if you open yourself up and you're willing, the Most High is always there to help you and to put you back on track if you're willing. That's what the young man started off saying, point blank period. And then he gets on the road with the cousins, Stack and Smoke. Twins are very special because they are one soul that is split into two, especially if they're identical. But the main thing about twins, whether they're fraternal or identical, is that individual came into this lifetime with their help. That which they are lacking is in that opposite, and it is up to them to come together and learn how to unite and work as one. They was cold. But those twins was the perfect example of duality. We all have two sides. We have the AKA good side and the AKA bad side, your yin and your yang. And honestly, they are meant to come together and you are supposed to use them together. One cannot negate the other. They are supposed to work together. So you have Smoke. That's that righteous mind, that conscious being. Smoke was more firm and more, rigid about business. Everything had to be clear cut. We're not trying to get over on nobody. We're not trying to scam, sneak, none of that. Everything is directly what it is. His counterpart, I can't think of the melanated lady, his counterpart's name in the movie, but the spiritual lady. That is your prime example of a divine being that is balanced. That is your prime example of a divine being. And those two, that is a prime example on how a couple, especially a melanated couple, that is exactly how we're supposed to work in tandem. That woman, if she is balanced, she is your spiritual eyes and ears, your spiritual protection. That man, if he is balanced, he is that provider and that physical protection. And they come together and they work in tandem, baby. And when they come together, they cannot be stopped. Yes, they had their ups and downs, but just like twins, they know how to read off each other and they know how to work together and balance out any situation and make it all make sense. You understand? Stack, on the other hand, is that carnal nature. that human nature to people, that carnal human nature that just wants to feed to its desires at all times. He wants what he wants, and he's going to learn you and get exactly what he wants up at you. But the bad thing to that is when you're led by any desire, that desire can take you over. You can control it to a somewhat, but at a point, it controls you. So I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with my old page, Be the Truth, and I was a disheveled mess, you understand me, on everything. But what I was saying was still the truth. It just was not coherent. And a lot of the videos, I kept repeating myself saying the exact same thing. But I'm so thankful that this movie Sinners came out, because it just gave you a real life example on that which I kept explaining over and over and over. It is true, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, you understand me? And there is a path that we are purposed to follow. But let me not get sidetracked right now. Let me finish with the movie. So then they get to the point to where, everything is flowing the way it's supposed to, and they ready to jump it off and have fun. I don't really want to pinpoint down to race. I really want to say it's more of a spiritual aspect, but the way that it was presented, you can't overlook it. And that's truly how the Caucasian, how the quote unquote dominant system come about. They sat back and they studied and watched our good nature, and then they took their lower nature and they allow it to lead them, led by hate, jealousy, whatever it was. And then they found different ways and put in different places systems where they was to overtake us and remove that which we operated in, basically down to our spiritual power, and then gave to us which that they wanted, so they can shape and mold us and make us docile. Because once that fighting spirit was gone, then they could refeed you that which they wanted to give you, and that made you easier to handle. But anyhow, it goes down to this music, a spiritual gift that the little cousin had in him. Now, please understand that the enemy recognizes a strong gift, and that's what it wants most. Because that which was purposed to come through and lead and guide, the enemy wants that person so bad, because they want to take that power of influence and have you lead and guide people astray and leave them in a ditch, their deathbed, the jail cell. You understand? But if you stay on that righteous path, then that gift will be used for good. And not only will you touch those around you and change lives from the inside out, you will be rewarded. Hopefully, that is not your main objective. Hopefully, the fame and the fortune, the money will not be your main objective. Otherwise, that will be the main thing that will make you fall. Be mindful of your intentions and the reasons why you do what you do. Stop and think about it. And if you're led to do anything because you know you're going to receive something in return, something tangible, anything other than grace, and you understand, it's hard to explain, but if you're doing anything for any tangible reasons, fame, fortune, money, or anything, there's going to always be a trick at the end of that road. Because you'll be tempted at some point. And when you're tempted, you will have to set aside or sell your soul, as they say it. But you'll have to set aside your righteousness to go forth that which you have been chasing. And that's where we get everything all twisted. And it comes back to bite us in our ass later on. AKA the Diddy's of the world and folks like that. Now, I don't take back anything that I said in a previous video, but we'll touch on that in a whole nother video. You understand? Don't get me sidetracked right now. So, the enemy wanted to send me because of the gift that he operated in. He knew how powerful it was. And he knew how many people he was going to be able to reach. And that's the reason why they wanted that young man. Not because the music is the devil's playground and this and that. It is actually a very strong tool that we use to keep ourselves going and uplift ourselves from a soul and a spiritual level. And it was eventually taken control of and manipulated and used against us as a weapon. It's a form of mind manipulation. Music and television are the two quickest ways to take hold of someone's mind. No joke. The more you see or the more you hear, the more you say. The more you say, the more you're willing to do. And the more you do, that is that which you operate in, and it will eventually operate in you. And so there, you're walking vessels being used by the enemy whenever it feels fit. And it'll jump in and it'll jump out and it'll do what it wants. And then once it's caused all the chaos and destruction that it possibly can muster up, it jumps out. And then that human vessel is left with those consequences. All because they was led by their Lord nature, that carnal side. The movie was an awesome movie. It also shows how music over the years, how it changed. The old blues, the old slavery songs and all that stuff that, we start off singing. Like I say, they start off as tools to keep us motivated to keep on going. And they spoke to our soul. And it led and guided a lot of us. And like I say, a lot of us was gifted with that gift. So you understand what was spoken through those words was, it was a tool, like I said, that was eventually manipulated with that fame and that fortune, that money. And then once they had a hold of it and they changed the rules to it, then they fed it back to us in their form. And look how it has us right now. Our young men in this drill music, they think that we came in this Joker with 3 or 4 backup lives or something. I don't know. Joker, this is not a video game. Just the way just the lack of respect that we show. The way that you feel about thyself is how you will treat others. So it shows that we have a lack of respect for self. And we walk around and we project that onto everybody we come in contact. That we have the audacity to breed offspring and have children. And we pass this nothingness, this hate. You understand? This nothingness on. When we all have the opportunity and the power to walk in that righteousness, which is there. That's why this is the realm of free will, baby. This is your purgatory. You're going to figure it out. I'll come back and do it again. And next time you come back, it's going to get lower and lower and lower until you eventually reach real life hell. Hell is a state of being. It's probably not a physical place. Maybe eventually you will burn up. But hey, that's neither here nor there. I'm talking about right here on earth. It is a state of mind. It is a state of being that you allow yourself to be in. Everything is a choice. And it's all about free will. And it's more or less that righteous path is going to lead you to that which you desire. No, it's not going to be easy. And no, it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. You understand me? You're not even trying to be perfect. You're just trying to be a better you than what you was yesterday and 5 and 10 years ago. And in hopes that you'll be a better person 5 to 10 years from now. It is all about recognizing who and what you are and the purpose and the plan that was placed before you got here. We've all went through something that was, hard, traumatic, and that's okay. The main objective is to get to a point of healing. Once you get to that point of healing, then you can be used to complete the mission that was placed upon your life before you came here. And again, no, it will not be easy. But baby, it'll be a whole lot easier than what you're currently going through. Everything won't always have to be a fight. And the hardest thing is reconditioning your mind and open up your heart to receive that which you truly desire. But before you can start to receive, you've got a lot of karma that you've got to pay back. A lot of wrongs that you have got to right. That movie is a prime example on the choices we choose the path that we choose to go down. You can be a slick talker, fast mover, and out here just enjoying your life and whatever feel good you operate in. Hey, and so be it. And then you can also be one of these people that recognize, you understand there's a way, there's a proper way in doing everything that I desire to do. No matter what that is, there's a proper way in doing it. And just do your best to operate that which is proper by law, universal law. I hope that summed up the movie. I hope I stayed. Oh no, I didn't get on. I didn't finish it up. So the music, safety, and that righteous twin took hold to that spiritual gift, that spiritual blessing, and protected and guided him back to safety. That is what we're meant to do on this journey as a righteous one. Not everybody is going to take a big platform and reach many. Some of us are meant to guide and protect the ones coming behind us. And we do that by passing on that which we know is correct. And then, the ending of it is the ending of it, you know what it was. One twin is already gone. He lost the love of his life. He ain't got nothing else to live for, you understand me? So at this point, he took it upon himself. I know these jokers is coming back. I know they on that BS. Okay, let me give them what they want. Let's go back to Delroy Lindo. I can't think of the old the old blues man name that was in the movie. The old bald-headed man, the drunk. So they kept calling him. His whole position there was sacrifice. I did not pass on the wisdom, that which I had in me. I did not do what I was ushered into doing. So at this point, I'm of no service. I done wasted enough time and half my motherfucking life, more than half of my life. If I can't do nothing else, let me sacrifice myself so you can reach that next point. And that's exactly what he done. That's exactly what he done. That's like the older generations, what they I don't know the name of these Gen Z, Gen X, the baby boomers. That's a little too much. But the ones that was born in, like I say, the 50s, 40s and 50s, that it was within them a lot of things, a lot of knowledge that they took on that they should have been passing on to the next generation. But instead, the ones who learned the lessons kept the keys tucked into their pockets, and they made sure their households and their families was good, while the rest of the society, the rest of the ones that looked like them, suffered. No, you didn't have to give them what was in your pocket, but you could at least pass off a little bit of wisdom and knowledge and help them stand up. And to those who wanted, they're going to recognize, take the information, and go forth. And for others, they'll follow and stay where they at. Not everybody is on this journey. Not everybody out here is purpose with assisting. Some people are gens out here. That is their sole purpose, is to try to keep you off track. That is their purpose. And it is up to you to use your spiritual eyes and recognize who and what you're dealing with at all times, and not be sidetracked by the nonsense. Sinners was such an awesome movie. I have never in my life went to a movie theater and paid to see the same movie twice. You understand me? But GP, I had to. The first time I seen it, I was so geeked and so excited by what I was seeing and understanding that I just kept, I just was doing the most. But not out loud, I wasn't acting like a nigga or no shit. But, so I had to go back to where I could actually stay focused and then take in that which I was seeing. And that movie was actually great. And it also tells you, watch out for trying to stand up and stick out the outsiders. Sometimes you got to recognize what you recognize and send them on their way. You understand me? Because sometimes you sticking your neck out and protecting that which really don't have your best interests can be your downfall. No, not can be, it will be. So all these protests going on right now with ICE and the Hispanics and all this and that, and they're up in arms that we as melanated people, quote unquote, blacks, African Americans, whatever you want to label us, they're upset that we're not standing in solidarity with them. No, you understand me? That's the choice that y'all made. So now y'all stand up. Y'all normally stand in numbers. It's time for y'all to stand up and fight your fight, and do what you do. You understand me? And it's time for us to focus on our needs, our plans, our desires. We've been over here doing this too long. Matter of fact, we've been here. We've been here. You understand me? We have got to get our rightful place before we can try to stand up for anybody. And who has our backs when it's time for us to stand up and ride out? But don't get me started. Well, at this point, if you stuck it out with me this long, and honey, I know I done jumped around, I just want to say thank you. If you feel led, leave a like, a subscribe, share, whatever you choose to do. And again, this is going to be, this is my brand new page. I'll speak on my older page in some of these videos. You can go back and watch and see what I was saying before and how it's lining up now, but how it's just flowing and it's so more cohesive. You understand me? But again, I thank you for taking the time. Everyone be blessed, mind your business, stay out the way, and find out your purpose.